Okay, let's go live. It's James Maduke speaking, trainingsites.io. Today I want to tell you about something that just came up. I subscribe to a lot of other YouTubers. I watch their videos daily. They're usually around creating online courses, marketing, and then there's a couple that are all about AI tools and looking at AI and what's happening with AI. And there's someone from First Movers, I think the name of her company is, and Julia McCoy is her name. And I'll put the link below so that you can have it. And one of the things that she's really thinking about and mentioned that got me kind of thinking about it even more was this idea of a move from AI and prompting to AI agents or bots and what's going to happen over 2025. The last 2 years has been really about, learning how to prompt and stuff. But in this video, she was kind of saying, we're past the prompting. The next thing is AI agents and being able to have your own ecosystem or place for these agents to play. And I was kind of thinking about that and going, okay, I understand what an AI agent is, how it works, but where are we now and where are we going and what do we need to do? And if you remember last week, and I think it was last week, what I'll do is I'll open up this page here. Actually, we'll do a different one so we don't have double heads. But I did a video that was on Gemini AI's killing software tutorials, and I did live demo of the changes. And one of the things that this video talked about, and one of the big pieces was Gemini 2, when they announced it at the end of, I think it was the end of, where was it? It was the end of December. They were talking about multimodal input. So we were not limited to text prompting, doing a prompt and then having an AI tool like ChatGPT or Claude actually respond to the text we put in. And even if you did a voice prompt, it was really just converting it to text and doing a text prompt. But the thing that they introduced was this multimodal input. And if you look on the screen here, you'll see there's a couple boxes. The first one's, actually, let me just bring one up that we can actually see it here. This is an actual live screen of it. And it's, again, the link is here. The one that I was looking at was on the left-hand side. It was the stream real time. And this is about basically just working with Gemini 2, either by talking directly into the page, having the screen captured by the page. And the one I didn't show, but it does, is one called Show Gemini. And it says, use your webcam to share what you're looking at and get real-time feedback. So I was thinking about this, and I was thinking about AI agents, and some people had asked, well, how does this multimodal thing affect the online courses that we're creating? And how does it change not only the courses we have and build, but how do we actually sell them? So what I want to do today, I know it took me a little bit to get started here, but I want to make sure that this is in perspective. What I want to do today is I want to go over kind of the process that we're using, even using AI, and then I want to show you an example, technically an example of how the multimodal input or the way to interact with something like Gemini 2.0 and this multimodal piece is in this year coming is going to change, again, how you create courses and how we market them. And I'm going to do a couple videos on this, but the one that I wanted to do today is just really go over the whole idea here of when you create a course, what actually happens when you're creating a course. So I have some notes here. Again, I'll do my best to kind of go through it in the pieces that make sense. And I have my my trusty video pencil here, and I'll try and, do we have a, there we go, we got a feed there, so that works. I try my best to go through this so that it makes sense and put stuff in perspective. So what I want to do is I really want to look at how multimodal so this is about multimodal AI. And if we take a look at what happens like now, if I go and I think, okay, I'm going to create an online course today and I want to be able to sell it. I've got a really great idea for a course. What is it that normally happens? Well, in general, most people, if you're either being taught it or actually doing it, there's 3 phases to that. So you'll have, again, maybe a little bit different for you, but just you've got a plan, a produce, and a market. So those are kind of the three phases that you go through, right? So if you're in the planning phase right now, what most people do again, or what you've probably been taught, is you create a course outline. You have a what's called normally a syllabus, or in your head you're figuring out what are the pieces that I need, or how can I put this together so it makes sense to people, or what is it that I'm trying to teach people, and you get an outline put together during this whole planning phase, right? After that, you may go, okay, great, I have my syllabus of the order put together so it makes sense, and I'm teaching what I want, the information I want, and the transformation I'm trying to provide people. And after that, what you might do is you'd put a script together for your content, your actual meat of the course, and any lessons or things that you're going to be teaching during those particular steps. And after that, you've also got to have some plans for examples that you're using, exercises that you're doing. Maybe you have to figure out, am I doing this as a certification, or is there some testing involved? How am I going to structure or put together that course? And then you still have to design slides, right? If you've got a PowerPoint deck, or you're doing a screen capture of something, or you're showing a physical skill, you've got to get all of that put together. And then also in that planning phase, you're kind of thinking, how am I going to sell this? So you're also figuring out, what is the promotion that I'm going to be running? How am I going to be promoting this or marketing in the future? What are the pieces that I'm planning for now to be able to do that? So if you get all of that done, you're going, wow, that's great. I got it checked off. I'm all good here. Let's make sure we got it checked off. I've got that down. What happens next? Well, at some point, you've actually got to record the video lessons, right? Most courses right now will be a combination of a video and slide, or a video and screen with audio. So we've got multimodal output for our courses, but for the most part, they're video courses now. And that's kind of the accepted way that it gets done, right? So you have to record that. You have to have it all so it makes sense. It follows the lesson content that you planned out. It follows the syllabus that you put out. But you've got to do the actual audio recording, the slides, the video recording. And in many cases, for most people, they've got to do at least a minimum some basic editing so that it's presentable enough for them in the market that they're in. And then once you've done that, you've also got to produce downloadable resources. So if you have course materials, whether that be checklists or PDFs or documents or templates, you still have to do that. And that's all in the production phase. Again, we haven't even got to the marketing, but if we say we got production done, we're ready to go on that place, it's all put together, what's next? Well, of course, what's next is we actually have to do some marketing. And that's talking about writing sales copy. Do you have a sales page for the course to let people know what it's about, what the benefits are, who it's for, what the price is if you're charging for it? You're going to have to create some social media these days, right? So what social media are you actually going to promote on? Who's got the graphics or the content schedule or the delivery schedule? Have you put that all together? Email sequences, same thing, put together. Ad spend, are you going to be running ads? Are you going to be paying for ads? Where's the ad copy or the ad material that's going out? And finally, where are they going to? Is it a lead page or a landing page? Are they going to a sales page? Those marketing phases are all things that we have to do at the start of this currently. And you're probably going, and even the videos I've talked about, what happens from here is that in any of these particular cases, those things are going to happen irrespective of AI or anything happening in the future. Those are just part of courses, right? The thing that has helped us in the last 2 years is this whole idea of AI and prompting. And the reason that's important is because that takes a lot of the work of creating the content in what we are already doing. You have content support now. You have someone that can create syllabuses. You have someone that can create scripts. You have someone that can create additional materials and quizzes. All of that content that used to have to be created privately by yourself and or your team is now being done by many of these AI tools like ChatGPT and Claude. And Gemini, for example, Notebook LM, all of these ones where you're getting live content support. You're also getting marketing support, right? So you've got all this content, you're also getting the marketing is being helped out with. So remember we had three. We had the planning, the producing, and the marketing of it. AI is doing a really great job of helping us with those two pieces, right? The content and the marketing. Our ad copy can be created, our social can be created, email sequences, all of those particular pieces. But at its basics, anything that's here, it's still primarily video that's being created. So that's what's coming out, is videos coming out. It's really heavy on recorded. So we're recording it and it's static. It's once and done and it's there. It's also really heavy on traditional sales funnel. So when we come to marketing it, it's all about cold leads and trying to bring them into some kind of traditional sales process. The courses are linear too. In many cases, it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lessons. They have to be taken in a particular order. And from all of this area on AI, what it's doing is it's actually changing the content creation, but it is not changing the delivery of the content. So that's how things are happening currently. And if this, you look at yourself and you're going, okay, great, I got to create an online course. This is the process that you are going to have to go through today when you are creating online courses. Now, some of it happens a lot faster with AI. You can farm some of this out, but all of these pieces are the traditional course creation steps and parts of the particular process. So where does Gemini come in to this? And Gemini 2.0, the one that I was showing you earlier, this particular one, when I was saying that there's multimedia here, how does this change things? How does this alter everything that we're doing traditionally right now when we're creating courses and that content? And here's the big shift in an example. I want to give you more detail on it because this one is, again, this is Gemini 2.0, available end of 2024. I said then that I think it'll probably be released in middle of 2025 here. So over the next 6 to 12 months, this is what's going to happen with your online courses. Those pieces that we just talked about, all of those individual steps that we went through about creating the content, think of it this way, kind of moving forward. You have a video of something that you've already done. And that can be something you've done live, not for a course, but just something that you've done. It can be a presentation that you gave. It could be a task that you do on a regular basis. It isn't a planned, or it doesn't have to be a planned and scripted production. It's just a video of something that you captured. So you basically have this video or this content, all sorts of content that's available to you. And what Gemini Multimodal does is it can watch your video. And from that video, from the actual video, not the text, it's not translating anything, it's not transcribing anything, all it's doing is watching the video, and it understands what you're doing in the video, it understands what you're saying, it can follow all of the complex processes that you do in the actual video. It recognizes objects and actions, so it knows what different pieces are in the video. It knows what you're doing and what the objects are doing. It understands all of that. And when it does that, you have all of the context and the relationships between all of these moving pieces. It has that now. So this makes huge changes in how you actually have to script stuff or deliver your content, because that multimodal capture of what it is that you're already doing, it's not just about you prompting anymore. It has the ability to be in the space with you. So what does this mean for course creators moving forward? If the Gemini 2 does that in 6 months from now, you had this original process that you used all the time, where you did all of these things, used AI, helped you out a lot, got all that content created, but now you don't necessarily have to use that content or create that content to do the things that perhaps you did in the past, like creating all of those lesson plans and a syllabus and all of those pieces. You basically just have to capture what it is that you're doing. So here's what's going to happen, I think, in the next end of this year. You're going to be teaching something normally like you would when you're actually doing it. So if you're doing a talk on something, or if you're talking to a customer, or if you're explaining something to someone, or if you're doing a task on your screen and into the webcam, for example, or physically doing something, you just teach naturally. This is not a scripted or put together or syllabus stuff. You just teach naturally like you normally would. There's no need for scripting or perfect scripting. It is capturing everything in the context in what you're doing it in. And all you have to do is show the process in your authentic style. You know, a lot of times when we're playing around with all of this ChatGPT stuff and the tools, it's like you generate something and you think that you have to follow the script because the AI tool put it out and it sounds good to you, but is it actually the way that you teach something? No, not necessarily. You show what you do with your experience, how you do it naturally, and you include real world problems that you run into. A lot of times when people are creating, I do this myself, a lot of times I'm creating a video, especially if I'm doing some, like these are all live sessions, they're not scripted at all. But sometimes if I'm recording it and I go, oh man, that didn't work. Or I'm showing a piece of software and the software crashes, or I get lost and I can't find a menu item. You don't have to worry about that anymore. It doesn't have to be perfect. You can show real world problem solving where something isn't where you think it should be, or you run into a situation where it doesn't necessarily happen. You just recode your process. That's all you need to do with a multimodal input. Now, the part that's cool is if you capture that, what Gemini does is the first thing it does is it will transcribe or take the text from the audio so that it has the text for it as well. So it transcribes it accurately. The second thing is it understands the visual demonstrations in it. So if you're showing how to play a guitar, for example, or if you're showing how to play piano, or how to use a power tool, or how to play a sport, or how to do a task on machinery in a business, it actually understands the visual demonstrations, okay? It catches the details you might miss during explaining. You know, if you have a particular thing that you do during the demonstration, but you normally didn't put it into a script or write it into a script, Gemini 2 is going to be able to go and pick up all of these things you didn't even know that you were doing. And it'll also be able to pick out the key points or key teaching elements in each of the particular pieces. The example I use is if you're going, hey, great, I'm going to show how to do a pickleball serve as an example. It will know, for example, that were you behind the line or in front of a line when you were serving? Was the paddle above your waist or below your waist when you were serving? So it'll pick out those pieces, what are important in context in the video that you may not have even thought of or been considering about. And it recognizes all the important steps and concepts. So it has the 1, 2, 3, 4. It has the this is important, this is important, this is important. And these are things that we used to have to script in when we're doing content. You don't have to do that anymore. So that's multimodal input in that particular example. Now, previously, I said that, you know, you use AI tools like ChatGPT to do reference materials or course materials. Think about this. After you do something and it gets recorded, Gemini 2 is going to be able to go look at your video and it will create the written instructions explaining what it is that you did while you did it. It's not you having to transcribe something and clean it up. It's actually able to explain what it is that was done. You can look and it will be able to say, hey, this is where you might get confused, or there's 3 options here. You know, which are the other examples of how this would work? Or is there a better way of doing it or a worse way of doing it? So here's an example of something happened right now. Situation when I'm doing a particular video and someone else has done a call with me. There we go. Closed, done. So if I was doing a video right now and I was capturing it, I was using Gemini 2, it would be able to look at this video and be able to cut that piece out. I don't have to redo the video. It'll be able to cut this piece out. So any of the enhanced content, materials, course materials, all of that stuff will be put together. Any supplementary materials, it's all available to us. And then the other thing is if it sees your video and it sees what you're doing, it'll be able to identify, for example, where the students might get stuck. It may give better ways for you to demonstrate it and say, here's another way to do it, or this could have been done faster if this had been done. It could make recommendations next time if you are showing something that it says, hey, next time you do a demonstration, make sure that you use it from this angle, or include this angle, or provide a top-down one. So anything that you do create with it, it'll be able to help you out and put it back together. And it's also time-stamped. So one of the things, obviously, when you're creating YouTube videos, you're putting this all together, a lot of times it's like, where's the transcription? I want to skip to a particular part. It has the timestamps automatically based on what's happening in the particular videos. So just think about that when we're looking at all these AI tools, and I talk about ones like Gemini, where I was kind of mentioning it before. This is really cool stuff. It's happening. So I've got a couple pieces after this that you're hopefully going to want to listen to, because when I watched Julia McCoy, the video today, she was talking about something called AI agents. And this particular piece that we're looking at right now, let me just pull this up. This is kind of where I think we are right now. Right now we're in the AI and it's all about the content, right? What's next, I think, is this multimodal, which I just talked about. But what's after this is, I think, going to be the really cool part that I'll see at the end of 2025, beginning of 2026. And that's when it relates to courses. I'm just going to say agents. That is going to be the time when we're all about agents, and there's some stuff that's going to be wild that happens. So I'm going to stop it here. I want you just to think about, if I'm doing or creating online courses over the next couple months, the next year, how am I using AI to create my content, my syllabuses, my lessons? How am I helping it to create content? And how much time, energy, and effort do I need to put in of time to create this content? If I know that in 6 months from now or 9 months from now, I'm going to have the ability to just do something and have multimodal AI be able to create the content based on what I did physically in front of the camera or on the screen or just talking to it. So that's space in the multimodal. Well, Gemini 2, that's the one that's coming up sooner rather than later. And the really exciting point, if you're thinking about that and you're trying to position yourself for that, the exciting part, I think, it's still not there. We're not there. I'm not saying that it's there, but just like keep it in the back of your mind when you're thinking about an education business and you're thinking about online courses, because the next step after this is AI agents, and that's going to change everything even more for anyone that's creating how-to material, online courses, education business. This stuff is absolutely a blast. So stay tuned for the next video, and I'm going to introduce the idea of how you can future-proof your courses now for in the future, because if you don't, you're not going to be able to keep up with all of these AI agents and things that are coming in the future. My name is James. It's trainingsites.io. Make sure to go to the trainingsites.io/join. Like and subscribe to the channel, all that good stuff. I'd love to see you on the Training Sites campus. I have all of my videos, additional resources, everything is there. And I'm just here to have some fun with AI stuff and teaching online and online courses, and I'd love to help you start, build, and grow your own education business. So take care, expect the best. We'll be back when? It's Thursday, probably back tomorrow with another great video. Take care, bye-bye.